What up? What up? Good morning, GM. Wednesday. Wednesday, March. I still can't believe we're in March, man. 4th, 2026. Look at that. Another beautiful day to have a beautiful day. I got my co-host in the house. Tyler, good morning. How are you doing today?
Absolutely fantastic. Just an electric morning for crypto Twitter, for all of crypto. 8% candles out there. I mean, pretty close to God candle territory.
Dude.
The blood moon is behind us, and we are pumping out of it.
It's almost like we said it on the show. We probably gave the most in-depth analysis of the blood moon, which was actually reposted by Jack. I don't know if you saw that. The Jack clipped it. And, when we analyzed it, last blood moon was FTX. I mean, one of them. And then Terra Luna, sorry. And then the lunar eclipse was FTX. And then the mix of a blood moon and lunar eclipse makes a positive, because they're two negatives make a positive. If you went to school, at least for the first 15 years of your life, you'd know that, which I assume everybody did. and there we are.
That's real analysis, right? Like, no one has a lock on crypto astrology more than we do. Fact.
That's a fact. That's an actual fact. And I have to say, Tyler, I'm gonna knock on wood here, not jinx myself, but I felt quite a shift since the Chinese New Year. And we talked about this as well. Like we talked about the year of the fire horse and leaving whatever year it was last year. Was it dragon? Was it something else? Or was it rat? I forget.
It was the snake. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. And it was snake. You're right. So it was snake. I remember it was one of those bad ones. And I have to say, I felt somewhat of a vibe shift ever since. I'm not saying we're back, but we are definitely at the beginning of the back. Does that make sense?
The vibes are definitely shifted. I think the bears are starting to lose steam. They're tired. And more bulls are starting to emerge. And interestingly, a lot of the TradFi folks have been perfectly bullish / neutral throughout this bear. It's been more of a pure native issue. But even the folks who are objective running the TA, they're starting to turn around too. So there is definitely a vibe shift this March. I feel it.
I love that. I believe it, and I see it as well. Anyways, today on the show, aside from this analysis that we just gave you, which I thought was really good, we're going to talk about the markets, of course, because that is definitely the most exciting part of what is going on today. We're also going to talk about whatever Tyler's got in store for us. There's quite a bit of things: Clarity Act, Kraken, etc. A lot of news left and right. Then, speaking of Clarity Act, we are going to be joined with our White House correspondent. Yes, we are the only media company in the space with a full-blown White House correspondent. Sander Lutz of Decrypt Media will be joining us in about 32 minutes to talk about, from his perspective, as he's pretty deep in there, the White House, he's talking to lobbyists, etc., what he thinks of the Clarity Act regarding the last updates. We saw President Trump talk about it yesterday again in the middle of a war. So he's locked in, Tyler. And then, of course, we'll be giving some money away on Yeet. It is weighted Wednesdays. So there is that. Use the code FOMO hour to sign up. And with all that being said, well, Tyler, we will just go directly to you, sir.
For daily NFT and crypto analysis. Tyler D on FOMO hour, cause the kid can't miss.
Ready to bash the bears. Folks, it is an absolutely electric morning in the crypto markets. Bitcoin up 8%, 72,075. Oh my. Outpacing Ethereum, which is up 7.9%, 2,095, right below that $2,100 level. Solana up 9% as well, just eclipsing 90 at $90.70. This comes as other markets are green, but not nearly this green. This is a crypto pump. Stocks are up 1%. The Nasdaq's up about 1% or so. Gold's up 1%. Silver's up 0.2%. So gold's up 1%. Stocks up 1%. Crypto's up 8%. So we're showing them who is daddy here today. Some of the signs on the board. The CFTC chair, Selig, came out and said yesterday that basically Perps are coming to the U.S. They want to put a framework in place in the next month or so. Pretty big news there. We had Trump posting on Truth Social and waging a little war against the banks, saying they're threatening and undermining the Genius Act and holding the Clarity Act hostage. So pretty strong comments from him. Sailor's Stretch closed above $100 yesterday with 1.82 million shares sold. That's important because he raised enough capital to buy about 1,000 Bitcoin, a new daily record, smashing the old record of 787. And guess what? Stretch has been above 100 so far this morning as well. So that ATM is continuing to go burr. We had Vitalik share some thoughts on Ethereum's place in the world and what good it has caused, a deep introspective post, and then promised to focus future efforts into building a sanctuary tech ecosystem. So interesting comments from Vitalik. Tether committed $6 million to the Swiss city Lugano, which is becoming a test case for a city-level Bitcoin integration. So an interesting story to watch. And then some breaking news this morning. Kraken becomes the first digital asset company to get direct access to the banking system. That was a big one. In treasuries and ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs, $225 million in net inflows on Monday. So the big inflow streak continues. Saul Balkunis talking about it this morning. Year-to-date flows are now starting to turn green. So despite the huge sell-off, the ETFs are green. Do with that info what you will. Mara Holdings is weighing additional Bitcoin sales as they pivot deeper into AI infrastructure following Core Scientific. But at the same time, Trump Family American Bitcoin is going deeper into Bitcoin mining. They ordered 11,000 new ASIC miners as they lean deeper into that sector. So established players are leaving. Trump family is going in. Interesting set of headlines there. In token airdrop and protocol news, it was a little bit quieter. Thrive Capital A16Z leading a $4 billion investment into Anduril at a $60 billion valuation. Paul Marlucky there. Wow. CZ's YZ Labs investing $100 million into Hash Global BNB. And then MetaDAO announced this new Futardio model, which enables founders to raise directly from their community, with participants also getting rug protection. So an interesting new model there. Memes were pretty quiet on the day. Majors kind of up in line alongside majors. Nothing really to talk about there. And then in NFTs, the CryptoPunks app, nice little update, allowing USDC purchases for the first time. So perhaps we'll see new buyers. I'm not holding my breath for that one. But overall, huge day of news.
I like that. I like it when you say good, huge native news and that your roundup takes like 4 minutes from top to bottom. Mando, good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm long.
We know. We know.
You know me. I wait for a breakout. This looks like a breakout.
We like it. We're waiting on the XMR breakout. It's looking good. When that shit breaks out.
Yeah, I bought Bitcoin this morning rather than XMR just because that looked the strongest.
Well, back to $72,000. I mean, let's start there. I mean, and then Tyler, obviously, you got a lot to go over. So a lot of topics to cover today, but let's start with Bitcoin, boys, because this is really the story of the day. They said at some point it was up on Kobisi letter was saying Bitcoin's up on rumors that there could be somewhat of a deal, but then Hexeth came out and said this is not what's going on, and then Bitcoin is still up to 72K. So what do we make of this, boys? What are we thinking here?
I wouldn't necessarily read into this as a pump along for the market structure bill. That would have caused a pump in all the L1s, and this is a Bitcoin-led rally. Bitcoin dominance is going higher here, as I said in the group chat today. So, I would have said market structure would be better more for the L1s than it would be for Bitcoin. I think it's probably what Tyler said more than anything. What you've actually seen here is gold and silver have slowed. This is gold down again on the day today. Well, it's holding up, but definitely not leading as it has been for a while. And I think probably a little bit of rotation. The dollar isn't rallying today, but it's obviously been on a bit of a rally. But yeah, just in general, this looks like a safe haven play more to me than it does a market structure bill play. That's what I would say.
Okay. I agree. I mean, market structure bill is extremely bullish for Ethereum.
Yeah, if that was a market structure bill, I'd be like, okay, well, which yeah, where's ETH?
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
But right now, that's not really what's happened. We've seen a rally in Bitcoin. Now, remember, I have bought today just because
Look at
that's
this.
the tweet I posted this morning. Like, you've got to go for it when it's like this. But we've hit this level about 12 times in 2024, and this would be the third or fourth time now in 2026. So it's one of these ones where, like, prepare to get hurt, you know?
So where are you preparing to get hurt, Mando? Is it at this level as we're pushing to resistance? Is it a 75K? Where are you preparing to get hurt?
We're kind of within the wick sort of level that this is not yet a breakout, you know?
It's here. Same as here, right?
No, I would look back at 2024 here.
2024. Oh, I still have my little.
So we're still kind of in that sort of like, we haven't broken out yet, but like, could we go to 74, 75? Yeah, I think. And I think we've got a little bit more of a leg in this. We're definitely at the highs of the last month, right?
Yeah.
So now it's just whether like we really are in this 2024 structure or not. Getting above 75K, there's definitely some air. Let me put it that way. So like, if you get above 75, like you're really talking about low 80s then as the next level.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there's a very defined structure here from 2024, which tops out at like 74.
I see.
And then you see if you break through that, like then there's no real structure there. Like you actually got quite a lot of air.
Okay. Didn't like that. The boys came over bullish this morning. There's only one reason for which we're pumping, Mando. Actually, I think you're quite wrong. You're not wrong about the pump. You're just wrong about the reason for it. After you left yesterday, we had Benny on the show. Benny. No, not Bernie. Another
Benny.
B. The other retard with the B name.
Of course.
And Benny showed up with a rocket to the show, by the way. But yeah, he did. We should check the clips. Point being, Benny showed up at 67K. And I kid you not, after his speech, we went on the like 1 minute chart with Tyler. The market rallied. And we're now at $72,000. So
nice.
You know.
Purim mode.
Yeah, exactly. I told him like his cabal, they're never beating the allegation. Yeah. They're never beating the allegations. After Benny came on and he started, talking about the Jewish holiday and everything. I mean, they're never beating the allegation after that. You can see the comments right now. This is funny. But yeah, Benny went Purim mode. But anyways, back to this on a more serious note. 72.2. We're bullish. Tyler, how you feeling? Flying, soaring, ripping?
Oh, I feel great. One of the reasons why I think this still has legs is there are some real drivers behind this. So like the biggest macro reason in the world is it tied to the Iran? Are there more factors at play? Perhaps above my pay grade, but zoomed in a little bit. ETFs massively green again, and then Stretch I think is arguably the bigger change from the past few weeks. They set the record yesterday. Did 1.82 million shares volume over that $100 level, which is enough for Sailor to buy about 1,000 Bitcoin. And it's been above that level again today. I think it opened with pretty significant volume. It's just right above the threshold right now. It's at 104.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, that would be great.
So Stretch is the Sailor digital credit product is what he effectively calls it now. And it's designed to trade at $100 par value with monthly rate adjustments that will act as a mechanism to keep it anchored to that price. So he's been raising his dividend rate by effectively 25 basis points per month to attract more buyers at that level. Right now, it is 11.5% interest. So you buy $100, one share, you'll get 11.5% return money.
Man, this is the most Ponziest Ponzi I've ever fucking heard of, man. He raises the interest rate until he can buy more Bitcoin. That's so good.
Because I think it started at like 9 and it got to 10.
That is just so good.
And now the pitches, so take this with a grain of salt. This is still coming from crypto Twitter, but it feels like the pitch is getting out there a little bit. Perhaps a little more into TradFi. I mean, 11.5% yield is good if you trust that yield is going to continue.
And it's working.
This is
love that.
He
is a master of this. Like, he is definitely mastering the Ponzi.
11.25% annual rate.
Oh, okay. Well, then what's the other number? 11.5.
It's SATA, SATA. I don't know what that is. There's Stretch, there's STRC, and there's SATA.
Yeah.
See, there's Strategy and Strive. SATA is Strive. I don't know what Strive is.
But it still says 11.49 is the primary yield. So
it is. It is.
Couple numbers.
SATA.
They're churning through the volume, and then so basically it's kind of like the DAT ATMs, right? So like the more shares you sell, it gives you the cash to buy. And yesterday looks like today's going to be a big day as well. Folks have been wondering where to say they're going to continue getting capital. Like, this is the answer.
What a genius.
Good or bad, but it looks like it will continue. So he's probably putting in some of these candles, I would imagine. Wow, 72.5. So I have 72.3 as a key level. That's basically the high since that February sell-off.
Oh, we were ripping for real.
It's all Stowe say we need to hold 68K to continue grinding higher.
Wow, look at that.
So a couple lines out there to monitor. But
Bitcoin's ETH is not looking bad either. 2,100.
They're all moving kind of in lockstep, right? They're all ETH. Sol's outperforming again. I mean, not a huge surprise. I guess it sold off the hardest. Sol's up 10%.
Wow. Again, Sol tends to outperform. I mean, it does get slammed the hardest always, but it really does outperform quite a lot.
And then once again, Hype underperforming on the big days. Like, Hype outperforms when it's a little more quiet.
Classic.
And then underperforms on the big. It's still at 33, so a huge move.
Oh yeah.
Notable news for Hype was out of the CFTC yesterday. Debatable if this is bullish or bearish. Maybe we can get into that.
Just go.
Thalik, he's the CFTC chair. He said at the Milken Institute conference yesterday that the CFTC is working to bring crypto perp futures to U.S. regulated venues. Expects to announce a framework within the next month. Guidance is imminent.
That would be bearish, no? Because that would bring it for the exchanges rather than for
bearish for. Bearish for.
Well, I wouldn't say that's for. I mean, if I was to read that, that's for exchanges. That's not for Hype.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So why is someone said, how is Hype not trading at 100 yet? I would assume that that's bearish for Hype, but that maybe makes sense with the price action.
Yeah, I think there's a debate to be had.
Right.
So the first order effect is certainly it's more bullish. The sexes, Coinbase, Kraken. But so far, most of what we've seen is folks don't really want to trade.
That's the thing. Like, the Hype, in theory, I would agree, but where I would disagree is the Hype number of users is up only.
Yeah, I think that's slightly separate. I agree that people like Hype, and Hype is a really good venue. I just think that this specific piece of news is most probably talking about bringing that to Coinbase and Kraken, and maybe Binance US. So I don't know if that would be bullish. And if that headline was Coinbase to get SEC regulated perps, would that be seen as bullish or bearish for Hype? I think if it was just said in a different way, people might be like, "Oh my god, that's so bad." So
the coming weeks.
Okay. If more people get into the perps game, more.
Yeah, that was the second order effect. I remember that people talking about that last time. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. We also got some Kraken news. I mean, you just mentioned Kraken. Kraken today becoming the first crypto exchange to gain access to Federal Reserve's core payment system. It's a pretty big deal, no? These guys are cooking before their IPO.
I saw the headline. I had a chance to dig in on this one. Like I said, I don't really know exactly what this means in the impacts of this one. So I'll have to perhaps dig in a bit.
Kraken's banking unit has won access to the Federal Reserve's core payment systems, making it the first crypto firm to be able to move money on the same rails used by thousands of banks and credit unions. So effectively, they kind of become a bank as well. Is that what it is, if I'm not mistaken?
direct access to FedWire, so you can fund your account faster.
Yeah,
is the primary impact.
That's crazy. That's actually pretty impressive, man. Like Kraken's really on it. They've been on the ball for like the last couple of years. Like it feels like they've just been really, really putting the foot, pedal to the metal, like they say. Shout out to Kraken. We need to get this Kraken CEO on the show, man.
Yeah.
I got a homie that can facilitate that. Let's get Arjun set.
It feels like there's this broader trend of some of these sectors are kind of moving into more like the banking space. And this kind of leads into our discussion with Clarity Act and Sander later on. But the banks are also leaning into crypto custody, right? So you're going to kind of have your choice. Like, do you want to trade custody with your bank, or do you want to trade crypto with your bank, or do you want to trade via your SEX, and you'll have easier access to your money? This has kind of got overlooked in the last week. I wrote about it yesterday, but 3 major banks made crypto custody news last week. Morgan Stanley filed an application for National Trust Charter. They're going to offer custody, trading, swap, staking, and stablecoin issuance. Citigroup announced institutional Bitcoin custody, and then Barclays also sent out an RFI for some blockchain platform support. So they're putting their foot on the gas as well on that side, even though Trump came out and said banks are not being very faithful. You're stopping all this. And I need to pull up his exact comments here. We know how Trump likes to talk, but pretty severe. I think one of the first times, I think that's why people are taking notice of this one specifically, is that he came out pretty severely. Genius Act being threatened and undermined by the banks, and that is unacceptable. Americans should earn money on their money. Banks hitting record profits. It's going to go to China if we don't act. The bank should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act or hold the Clarity Act hostage. They need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in best interest of the American people.
Saw that. I mean, they're starting to. I think, we said it yesterday, right? We said crypto's made some concessions. We know that for a fact. A lot of founders made those concessions, and now it's in the hands of the bank, and then the banks are trying to fuck with the vibes. And I don't know if you saw today. I mean, you probably did it because I sent this into our chat earlier today, but we'll talk about it with Sander a little more length in 10 minutes. But Patrick Witt, who is the White House lead on crypto, literally used the term deceit, talking about Jamie Dimon. And this is not a really good look on their end. We already know there's some beef between Trump and JP Morgan, but he said the deceit here is that it is not paying a yield on balance per se that necessitates bank-like regulations, but rather the lending out or rehypothecation of the dollars that make up the underlying balance. The Genius Act explicitly forbids stablecoin issuers from doing the latter. Stablecoins do not equal deposits. So, it looks like Jamie Dimon, anyways, doesn't really want this act to pass.
Yeah, it seems that way. And it seems like his arguments have been fairly weak. And that anyone who knows the rule has been kind of coming out and saying that's not how it works. So like the stablecoin issues are already effectively being regulated under the Genius Act. So
yeah,
Trump putting his thumb on the scale a little bit.
Yeah. What's up, Mando? Did I miss something?
No, don't worry.
Mando's like dancing.
When Bitcoin 9%,
taking the piss out. Just taking the piss out of tabs.
Here comes XMR. Here comes XMR, boys. Here comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Bernie's in the chat. Let's see the ball.
Bro, Bernie is probably like rich right now, dude. Bernie's been trading XMR quite well. I do have a screenshot of the Bernie XMR trades. I have a screenshot of our quants.
Here we go. What's the level? I need to bring up my.
It's at 358 right now. 358.
Oh, we've been waiting for this.
This is the level we've been waiting on. Please, God. If you hear me.
That meme, I see what you've been doing for other tickers, and I need you to do that
Yeah.
for me right now.
This is literally the level, Mando. This is the level that we got, wrecked at last time. This is the one. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody manifest. I mean, a lot of the show, I think, like the listeners are long XMR2 with us.
Yeah.
So this is the level that we all.
You have Ray Dalio going on the All In podcast and bashing Bitcoin because it's not private. So
There you go. Bullish XMR.
There's a fundamental bullish tailwind
That's funny.
for privacy coins. I think Zeke moved a lot too, right?
Zeke is, I have to say, Zeke moves a lot. It's up 13% today. But I see Mando's like a breakout trader. So that's his shit. But look at this. Zeke always moves more. It's up 13% today alone. It's just doesn't look as
I
good.
wouldn't have wanted to own Zeke over this period.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's fucking.
It's fucking horrific.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing else to say. But
Looks bottom to me.
look, it could have double bottomed here. Mando, I see.
You know what that looks like to me? That looks like a cup and handle, my friend.
It's just the handle a little too low, right?
That looks like a handle trying to find a cup.
Looks- That's funny.
There's some nice breakouts out there. It looks
What
like
a nice
a lot of
breakout.
coins are wanting it. Oh wow, we're gonna hit 73.
Oh, wait, hold on. I don't have the Bitcoin chart open in front of me. Oh, wait.
I bought a lot of Bitcoin today, so this
Oh,
is a good day
73.
for me.
Wow. That looks sweet. This is a 9% candle now. Like 10% candles count as God candles. Like, what's our threshold for a God candle?
No, this is the God candle, no?
I think it is, yeah.
I mean, right?
Almost 24 hours since we had Benny on, gave the pep talk.
Dude, Benny is literally the GOAT. Like, there's no other way to put it.
That looks good.
We are up. Oh, but it's even more. I'm sorry. This is the hourly. Hold on. Let me calculate. So, wow. Fuck, dude.
What I have to say is breakouts like this. This is slightly different than the breakout. So let me share my screen.
Yes, please. 15% since the strikes. That's insane.
So as we all remember, this was the breakout that I last bought around there.
Let me know 1 second. Okay, yeah, you're on screen.
Remember, it was about 93.5, and then we broke out of this range, and it was like, right, this is going to go up. And my expectation, this was going to go up to around 100. It stopped out at
97.
higher than that, 97.
It was 97.5, I think,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
97.5. It stopped out, and we didn't quite get there. I have to say that if you sold Bitcoin there, this started a bit early. If you've sold Bitcoin up here, and you see this right now,
Yeah.
you have to think that the level of FOMO is high, right? Like that there doesn't feel like you really missed much, right? Like you could have waited until it broke back above, let's say, a moving average. But here, there is a good chance that the FOMO of this takes you to a high level, in my opinion, because a lot has cleared, right, in terms of volume, all the way down here.
I mean, Bitcoin.
You're sitting there saying, "Oh, I saw Bitcoin above 100K, and now it's at 73, and it's breaking out of a range that it was in for the last month after hitting a higher low, and then it's just broken out of this range where it topped out at 71. And the previous one kind of takes you at least, to be fair, like we've actually semi-broken above that now. So like, it feels to me like, I'm just saying, I think the FOMO of this could be pretty high. Like,
where's that line there? The purple line you got? 80? No, 76. 76.
I mean, the next level this would really go to is like this, where we saw quite a lot of
76.
Which was where it was in that April, and we touched it around here. Remember, like on the way down here, we kind of went back up to 80 and then just fully rugged.
Yeah.
But I would say that the next level really would be 70. Yeah, this level. No.
I should have longed that ETH this morning. I saw Bitcoin go. I figured they're gonna go next. ETH is at 21.25. Wow. What's the Clarity Act odds at?
Bitcoin is outperforming the vast majority of the market here.
Pull up Ethereum, please.
ETH is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
See,
that looks strong. It looks okay. It's not the strongest one I've ever seen. That Bitcoin definitely, and the reason why is the other way of looking at this is Bitcoin dominance, which is what I showed you this morning. Like Bitcoin dominance also bounced from a higher low, and then is going higher here. So if this was continuing this breakout down, I'd be like, okay, maybe not. But this also flashed a buy signal 2 days ago. So I still think Bitcoin's probably your best bet here. But that's on a broad basis, like 1 wick in XMR. XMR looks decent. Like it's been above this. It had a retest, a nice little retest, and now it's breaking back up. The strongest ones, not BNB, Bitcoin for sure. Kind of. Byte still looks strong to me. Still looks okay there. Though I agree, it's not like the best performer. No.
Hype is its own life. Like it was running over the Bloomberg article, the oil trading over the weekend.
Solana looks okay.
Market.
I picked Solana over ETH. Looking at those two.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mando.
Okay.
Mando.
BVV still looks like it's an upward trend, but given the change in news there, I'm just going to wait to see how that one goes. And then XMR looks strong. Zcash doesn't look strong to me. Still doesn't look strong.
Sad.
Okay. I mean, there is kind of.
This is not a bad shout. I've been looking at this one for a while.
Which one?
Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It's broken out.
Man. Oh, no.
Like, looks interesting to me, that
It
one.
looks so good. Like, actually, looks so good.
Yeah.
I like obviously.
If we zoom out for just like the one day, like we're still in bearish trends on pretty much every coin that I look
That's
at.
daily? Okay.
This is the daily. So like we're still here.
Yeah, okay, I see. Oh, wow. Okay.
These are still really bearish trends. So there's not the only real one is hype, I think, which is close to being.
Everything looks different. As soon as you turn to daily, everything looks like shit.
Gold.
What do we need to see on Bitcoin to break
that? It would be wow, a big fucking move.
$96,000. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
You mean that would be to break the trend, which is something much bigger. That doesn't mean you're not going to get to like.
I mean, let's assume that, and let's take this down to where we are, maybe in.
Okay, 83.
Like we're talking about a level where I think by the time we get back up there, it would be in the mid 80s.
I see what you mean.
But for now, it's still quite long.
360.
That's 2 days of 9% candles.
Yeah. But this is the main thing. I would focus on Bitcoin dominance here because that looking like it's about to break back up is quite a good one. That's why I said I think this is more around safe haven than it is around anything else. So, and you saw it this morning. Bitcoin this morning actually dipped. It looked like it was going to break out and then dipped down to like 70 roughly, and everything just got rugged.
I know.
So like, I'd just be cognizant of that. Like, yeah,
this is true. I mean, the next time Bitcoin breaks back down to the 60s, everything's going to just take another like lower, like it has been. I feel like.
Yeah, apart from XMR, which doesn't really move.
What's XMR like on your daily?
God, that's not nice. There's literally nothing that looks nice on the daily.
That's crazy. I mean, hype is the most comfiest buy. Maybe gold on the daily. That's it. Like
even QQQ looks like it's about. That is a horrific chart for QQQ.
Jesus Christ,
that does not look good. That almost certainly is going to lead to a stock sell-off in my opinion.
Oh, wow.
Like a deeper one.
What does QQQ gold look like on your daily Heroku candles?
I mean, do not fucking sell this thing, is what gold looks
Wow. Shit.
like. You had your shot when it went down there.
I doubled down yesterday on the show when you set the signal, and I managed to buy at 5,056. I'm pretty sure that's like the bottom.
The
Well,
thing is, it could go sideways here for a bit, but just like don't
That's right.
fade this fucking.
I'd
thing.
rather own
Like,
that than USDC. Like it's been like I was thinking like
right,
why
that's
do I,
how I would kind of think about it. That's actually
So-
how I would think about it.
that's how I treat it now. I didn't treat it that way, Mando, until like this weekend, and I was like, wait, there's war, there's all these things. Why am I like heavy USDC in my portfolio right now when the dollar is being devalued as well, and gold is like chopping / up, it's chopping up at least. And I'm like, I'd rather gain 1-2% here and there on my bag than just dollar that's devaluing. So really been treating it as such right now. Oh, I see Sandra in the studio. We'll get you in a second. Tyler, was there any other larger piece of news, etc., that we missed
For me,
from either? Honestly,
no, like it's more headlines are really about the war at the moment. And you know, there's a lot of this is definitely gonna be the longest conflict that Trump's been involved in.
yeah,
And I think he's slightly getting caught in his rhetoric here of like, obviously, there's a lot of pressure for this to be a quick war, but then, he's been saying, oh, I think it's 4 weeks, but then also wants to purvey that this could go on forever, and also wants to get a deal done very quickly. So I think it's going to be interesting just to see like what happens here in terms of getting a deal done. I mean, there's like Iran is doing what it can. It feels like, but this does just feel like it's slightly one-sided at this stage. The main thing is just the Strait of Hormuz, but the US has sunk the US could sink the Iranian fleet tomorrow if they wanted to.
that's what it seems like they're doing. Yeah,
So they have complete aerial superiority. So the idea that is even a threat, it would really just be like land to land attacks on ships. Really, I think that would be the main worry here. But remember, the Strait of Hormuz is quite a big thing for Iran to fully close, because it doesn't just hurt them, it hurts any of their allies. So like China, Russia, and anyone that is strategically important to Iran is putting a lot of pressure on them not to do that, because it would be a big deal for them. So yeah, like I don't necessarily think that is like a long-term threat from Iran. Let me put it that way. So I just think that they should be coming. I've thought for a while like this. The fact that deal wasn't made is kind of wild to me. But let's see.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Ty. Anything else? Oh, Sandra's ready.
I have a lot of thoughts, but let's bring Sandra up.
Let's bring Sandra on. Keep those thoughts for tomorrow. That's perfect. All right. Well, there he is. There he is, the man himself, Sander Lutz of our very own Decrypt Media, also our White House correspondent. Sander, GM, how you doing?
What's up? I will say off the bat, I know very little about the Iranian Navy, so I will not get involved in that conversation. But beyond that, yeah, about a crazy week in every possible respect as you could ever imagine. Yes.
Yeah, you must be busy here. You guys are pumping articles out like crazy, and staying busy as well. Sander, you are our very own White House correspondent on behalf of Decrypt. You are boots on the ground pretty much for the whole of crypto when it comes to Genius Act, Clarity Act, and a lot of the stuff. You get to chat to a lot of the lobbyists, a lot of the politicians, etc. At the White House. I think you were just there, right, last Friday, which is why we couldn't get you on. So what's the latest? I mean, we maybe we can take us through the updates that we just got maybe in the last 24 hours regarding the Clarity Act. I think we saw obviously President Trump make some comments and some other people part of his administration. What's the latest? Where are we at?
Yeah, I'll take you through the last few days because they've been insane. And I will say the one thing I'm sure the four of us can probably agree on is no matter what you think about the Clarity Act and its odds of passage, which I'll get into and share my thoughts, the movie version of how this all is going could pretty much not be more dramatic than it currently is. So they're really cooking up a great third act here for this movie, regardless of what the final shot's going to be. So let's go back to Friday, because that's when stuff started getting really crazy. So the White House, as I'm sure a lot of your listeners are plugged into, have been holding these negotiations between the banking lobby and the crypto lobby. And there's this tension between the two sides. That's the main thing, not the only thing, but the main thing that's holding up the Clarity Act right now. And it's all about stablecoin rewards. Crypto really wants them, especially Coinbase. The banking side really doesn't want crypto to have that. So the White House said, and had been saying for weeks, we need a deal done by March 1st. The reason they're saying that is because Congress is going to grind to a halt pretty soon. There's a little disagreement about when that is, but by April or May, definitely by the end of May, nothing's happening in Congress because of the midterms coming up and everyone getting distracted about raising money for their own races and defending their own seats. So if something's going to happen this year, it's got to happen this spring. That's the situation. So the White House said, we need a deal on this thing by March 1st. So on Friday, March 1st was coming up pretty soon, and there was crickets about a deal. So on Friday afternoon, I spoke with one of the main banking side negotiators in this conversation, in these White House meetings. And I asked them, like, hey, haven't heard anything. Is there going to be a deal? And the banking side person kind of went off and was like, nope, there's no deal at all. They keep saying we're close to a deal. We're not close to a deal. It's obviously the banking side, so they're saying their side, and they're saying Coinbase isn't negotiating. Coinbase isn't even starting to give up what they want. And until they do, honestly, this is what the banking person told me. It's like, we want a deal here. We want to reach a negotiation, but we're not close to one. And in our view, the banking side's view, if this isn't fixed and done and passed by April, it's not going to happen. So I get off the phone and I'm like, wow, okay, that's saucy. Wow. And I post this on Twitter on Friday afternoon. And what I had heard from this banking side person, I don't know if you saw, but everyone in crypto went off. The White House, Patrick Witt, who's in charge of the president's Council on Digital Assets, David Sachs got involved, every major crypto lobbyist, Andreessen Horowitz, Coinbase, wow, all getting kind of pissed and saying, like, this is totally an unfair characterization. Coinbase has been at the negotiating table. The White House has been great. It's really the banks that are holding this up. But it was funny. There was so much pushback, and so many people were like quoting what I had posted. But the one thing no one pushed back on was the fact that they weren't close to a deal. No one seemed to dispute that, which was kind of the interesting signal in all the noise. Then you saw it continue to get more dramatic after the March 1st deadline passed over the weekend, because now it's getting hot in the room. Now it's like crunch time, right? Because there's supposed to already be a deal. On Monday afternoon, you had Jamie Dimon, the most powerful banker in the world, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. He was asked about this by CNBC, and he did not sound like a guy who was close to a deal. He was saying, hey, Coinbase, if you want to become a bank, become a bank. Otherwise, F off, basically, and said, we have to deal with all these regulations on our bank accounts that offer yield. It would be totally unfair if crypto companies get stablecoin rewards. And he used pretty stark terms. He was like, if this happens, if this status quo is allowed to continue, the public will pay. Things will get bad. Like, kind of like Jamie Dimon foreshadowing, like, this could like mess up the whole economy. So like, that is not the sound of a guy who's like close to signing a deal, because the banking trades are not going to do something that Jamie Dimon, the most powerful banker in America, is not cool with. I mean, I'm just saying that myself, but I think that's a fair assumption to make. So you have that on Monday, Jamie Dimon going off. What do you have yesterday? Things go even crazier. One, some crypto people go to the White House. Brian Armstrong, Coinbase CEO, is at the White House. He meets with Trump yesterday afternoon. Politico first reported that meeting. And then, as we all saw, early evening yesterday, you have Trump himself on Truth Social posting, getting into the nitty-gritty, into the trenches, talking about the Clarity Act, talking about stablecoin rewards, saying that the banking lobby is holding the Clarity Act hostage. I mean, really, really about as stark as terms you could get from Trump himself, wading into this and fully taking crypto's side. and fully dunking on the banks. So that was last night. So the question is, where are we at? Now, I know, Farouk, you want some good news here, but it is my solemn obligation to give you the truth wherever that may lead.
Whatever the truth is, Sander.
Yes, whatever the truth is, wherever it shall lead us. So, like, okay, you see Trump posting about the Clarity Act, and you're like, okay, could there be a more bullish signal than that? I wouldn't be so quick to come to that conclusion. Like, I was just speaking right before this with someone on the crypto side whose opinion I really trust about this stuff, like a top policy leader. And I asked them, like, what do you make of this? And I imagine what they were going to say. And they said, the most important thing to take away from Trump's post is that it is even further proof that we are nowhere close to a deal. He would not be doing this if we were not really far from a deal. And I think that that's true. I think since Friday, since I heard that from the banking side, nothing has changed. And Jamie Dimon's comment only reiterated that. The question is, does Trump applying pressure like this move the banks? Does it get the banks sweating? And I would say you've seen past situations where Trump does something like this, goes hard on Truth Social, and it gets, Republicans in the line, gets them to vote for something. But the thing is, you're dealing not with legislators right now. You're dealing with the banking lobby. And the question is, like, does this move them? And a couple of people I've spoken to think this doesn't really change the underlying dynamics. I mean, the whole thing about this negotiation is that it's kind of a zero-sum game. The whole idea of a compromise here is kind of a funny thing to wrap your head around, because the banks don't want you making money on your stablecoin rewards, only for like very small things like transactions, but like they do not want you making money on just your holdings of stablecoins. And Coinbase and crypto can come up with some clever language, but at the end of the day, those companies feel they need you to make rewards on just the stablecoins you have and that you're holding. So like the idea that there's something halfway between we need this and we can't have this is like, I haven't heard from anyone what that language would be. And Trump and the White House have said crypto is giving up on things, but then the banks say, well, those are still loopholes. So basically, that's the state of affairs. And I'm not saying this is not going to happen. I'm not saying there's a path now with Trump, the president, applying a ton of pressure to the banking industry. Maybe something happens. The thing I will say, though, because it's been driving me crazy, is the Polymarket market about the odds of the Clarity Act, which has been having this at like 76% odds.
I was going to bring this up. I'm glad you did.
This is all just to make my piece on it, and I'm not betting in this market. I'm not participating in it, but it's just been driving me crazy because anyone who actually understands what's going on here, I've never seen a market more off from reality. When after Brian Armstrong pulled away from the bill, serious people knew that the odds of this passing were at like 10%, maybe 12%. Since then, they have gone up, but where are they now? I'd say 30%. On the best possible day, 35%. The idea that this is a slam dunk that's overwhelmingly likely, I think, is just like, I don't know who's betting in this market, but if you talk to anyone serious in DC on either side, it's not 76%.
Are you telling us to take the no side here, Sander?
I am not giving any financial advice.
Are you?
I am not.
Am I putting my life savings on no here? Tyler, did you hear that? Mando, you caught that, right?
Not financial advice.
Feels that way. But deals like this always feel like they're never going to happen, and then they happen. Like he's got a lot of things that he could threaten both sides with. I feel like
my concern with this market. Well, first off, Sander, you're an incredible storyteller. You did a fantastic job walking us through that. I'm ready to go see the movie. I'll buy my tickets right now. On that market specifically, if the market was by the end of spring, I'm probably heavier on the no side, but it just feels like there's still so much time into the year. But I appreciate what you're saying, that it has to get done in the spring or it's not going to get done. But I've been surprised by the odds as well. I just figured someone knew something that I didn't know. But also the market's not super liquid. I mean, 300,000 volume is decent. It's not crazy. So
yeah, but like every day I'm on Twitter and I see like some random crypto news account being like, I have heard a rumor that this will be done by dinner time today. And it's like, no,
Well,
dude.
that's
Like,
maybe not that.
yeah.
So you don't seem convinced about like a spring approval, whatnot. Let's say pre-midterms approval.
I'm correct. I would not say I'm convinced. I'm not saying it's impossible. This could very well happen. You have some very powerful people, including the president of the United States, weighing in fully on crypto side.
That was a
But-
big shift, I think, right?
Yeah, but the banking industry, like you have now the attention. These are powerful people. Like this isn't like Here's what I'll say. Like, you know how I said there's multiple hurdles to the bill. Like
Yes.
there's this yield thing. There's the ethics stuff. Like, do the Trumps have to divest from their own crypto companies? Democrats want that. There's a few other things like DeFi. If it came down to any of those other things, I'd be pretty convinced this bill is going to pass. Because like the ethics things, it's like the Democrats always talk a huge talk about Trump-related stuff, and at the end of the day, like you saw this with the Genius Act, you can get them to kind of walk it back or cave a bit.
Yeah.
If it was just the Democrats holding this up, I'd be like way more confident it's going to pass. But the banking industry is like powerful, seriously powerful, and they've been powerful for a long time. And I've even heard, not to get more into it, but it's like it's interesting seeing the dynamics when you have crypto and the banks in this room with the White House. I've talked to people on both sides who are in that room. The banking side is just, they've been doing this for a long time. And like crypto is like everyone's jumping right onto Twitter and being like, I was in the room today and it was really awesome, blah, blah, blah. You're not seeing that from the banking side. Like
The pros.
they know what they're doing. They also, yeah, like they also have an incentive to get a bill passed here, right? They want a deal because, you know, leaving it as it is in Genius with this loophole that allows Coinbase, for example, to continue to do stablecoin rewards, that's not ideal for them. But then there's also this question of, I think, do they want to lose this fight again and then also give crypto a ton of other favors that in the Clarity Act and basically be greenlighting an industry they see as a threat to themselves to kind of have this like really nice regulatory path to being very competitive very quickly and being very like mainstream. So I don't know. There's what?
I feel like that's what it comes down to. This could be the beginning of the end of their like, you know, strong grip on the system, the Clarity Act, which is probably why they're fighting with it.
Yeah, and they feel a lot of resentment also. I mean, some people in crypto will disagree with this characterization, but they feel the banking side feels that like crypto is doing a lot of other stuff that they already do by another name and getting to deal with like a lower regulatory bar. So like how many billions of dollars does Wall Street spend on like compliance and on all having everything buttoned up and tied up and all of that stuff? And they feel, I think, pissed off at the idea, as they see it, that like crypto could do that stuff in a more efficient, quicker way that's also way cheaper for crypto on the regulatory side. The one thing also, I don't mean to get too inside baseball, but to get into everything. In terms of like this, it's funny that we're talking about a bill and like the Senate isn't even involved with it right now, which is also kind of crazy because usually like Congress tries to like at least pretend that like they're the ones writing the bills. But now you're just having like banking and crypto slapping each other in the face and like going after each other. And like the actual senators whose actual votes on this actual bill are what matters. They're like they Democrats had a meeting like last week to talk about this. And they're like, yeah, I guess, we'll see what banking and crypto do. Like they're just sitting there with their hands in their lap. But the point I was going to make is one of the key senators on the Senate Banking Committee who is taking the bank side and has taken the bank side isn't a Democrat. It's a Republican, the senator from North Carolina named Tom Tillis. Yeah. But so he's like close with the banking industry and he was getting really involved over the stablecoin stuff. The funny thing about him, though, I don't know if you'll see him elsewhere on social media. Trump hated this guy so much because Tillis, even though he's Republican, was kind of pushing against Trump last year, hated this guy so much and pledged so many times to like run a challenger to defeat him, that this guy Tillis, like last year, said, "Screw it, I'm retiring." After this year, or when his term's up, I'm not even going to stay in the Senate, which has created this weird dynamic where now he's just going off. Like now he's just saying whatever he wants. Like he was yelling yesterday in the Senate at Trump's head of Homeland Security, Noam, like yelling at her, pointing at her. It was insane. Talking about how she killed her dog, which she talked, and like saying that she should, which was a whole other thing, and saying that she should resign or be impeached. But basically, so this guy Tillis is like going off, is YOLOing right now, and so it's like, who does Trump need to convince about this? It's not Republicans. It's a handful of pro-crypto Democrats who care about the banks and another rogue Republican. So it gets back to the question of like, Trump is applying a ton of pressure, but where does that pressure actually go?
Yeah.
Just for more context.
Okay.
We're going to find out. It seemed like on the surface, it seemed like maybe we were making progress, Sander, but then
I don't mean to get anyone cynical on this beautiful Wednesday morning, but just so you have the full context.
I mean, my read had been like these two groups. Like I've been reading every week. I read your articles. Like, okay, they met again. Great. They're nice to each other. No progress. It really seemed like there had been no progress. And listening to you, you kind of paint the story. Like this is not a compromise bill. There is going to be a winner and there is going to be a loser.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
If you think about it that way, it's hard to now you understand why like this deal might very well not get done.
And the White House keeps saying, and crypto keeps saying, there's a win-win-win here. I mean, that was actually the question that set Jamie Dimon off on Monday. The interviewer was like, "Hey, Brian Armstrong said this could be a win-win-win-win-win-win for everyone," and then that pissed off Jamie Dimon enough that he started ranting for like 3 minutes.
I mean, the banks don't have anyone's best interests at heart, and definitely don't want this crypto industry to win. And this is why we're gonna win. Right, Sander? It's gonna pass. Your poly market bet's gonna hit. Listen, I'm just saying there's a big discrepancy between what you're saying and what the streets are saying.
Hey man, I'm no financial advisor.
You know? So, but I'm absolute cinema, right? Absolute.
Yes. If that's what you care about, then that's what we definitely have, and that's definitely what we're gonna get over the next few weeks.
I like that. I mean, we've had a lot of stuff happen in the last 24 hours between President Trump, Patrick Witt, and Jamie Dimon all in a day's time. So, Sandra, I think you should come back next week and just give us the weekly update or something at this stage, because it seems like you go quite often to Washington. When's your next trip out there?
I'm going to be there in the next week or two. I'm also going to be moderating at the digital asset summit or blockchain, whatever it's like a big it's a big policy conference that's the third week of March. So I'll be down there on the ground with all of these players. But I will say yeah, again, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. It's March. If we're still having this conversation a month from now, this thing isn't happening in 2026. I'm pretty confident about that.
All right.
So this is the month to lock in about this narrative.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So Sander Lutz,
you heard it here first.
So kindly change his username before coming on the show so that we can actually find him.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was gonna say. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I didn't know until an hour ago when Froke told me that you can change your Twitter username. So
this is the most Sander response ever. Tyler was like, "Where the fuck is Sander's handles, dude?" I'm like, "Dude, I can't find it either." And I was like, "Okay, we got to change that." So Sander_Lutz of our very own Decrypt Media. Thank you for coming, Sander.
Thank you, guys.
Ciao. All right. Wow. We got to get Sander on more. I love Sander. I get to work with him a lot. He was with me at Mar-a-Lago when we did the President Trump interview. He's always out here with me. He's great. He is great. All right.
To be on CNBC, this guy is incredible.
Yeah, I know. He's really good. Well, there's a reason why, we gave him the badge so that he could go to the White House for us. So he's been going a lot. Like I forget sometimes, but he's been using the badge a lot for the White House. We have constant access there. So it is very, very, very good. See, let's give some money away. Let's give some money away.
Weighted Wednesdays, right? We got a little weighted wheel.
Yep.
It doesn't. There we are. So that's the weighted wheel. All right.
All right. Oh, wow.
All right. How about that?
Space. Is that
Space bar.
That's a space bar?
A space bar.
I think it's a bot, right? I think we got to re-roll. Is this space bar a bot?
You're joking, right? He's like the rec guy who's always chatting.
Yeah, I know that. I'm kidding.
I can't. the bot comments that they tilt me. I don't like them.
We're definitely playing lamb chop with this guy.
Chat, I'm
right?
talking like the bot jokes. Enough of the bot jokes. What do you want to play, space bar?
Yeah, this fucker's always making the bot jokes about everybody else.
Oh, he's the number one perpetrator.
Yeah, no, he's literally the fucking guy, always like bot, giving us a fucking hard time. All right, space bar. Whoa, not 20,000, 2,000. All right.
Space bar.
Did you see Wiz? So Wiz had a game where he obviously cashed out, but had he gone all the way, it was like a $7 million win. But you know, would have shut up, of course. But that was crazy.
What a coward!
Well, $363. Wow, 363. This is it. This is the 363. You re-break that, and we're money. Fuck yeah! Feels good to hit on a couple trades in this market. Not big, but you know, God knows I could use the wins. All right, to the tracks. Let's go. Easy one.
Clean board.
Clean board.
God Candle Day. You cash out on God Candle Wednesday.
You're cashing out. I mean, we can bully him a little bit. Like he's one of the boys, right?
You gotta be kidding me.
And he's a wreck trillionaire. So we can totally bully him. Next one to the barn. No, this is the one you take to the barn and you cash the next one. I'm not cashing him out.
We gotta. That's what he wants. Yeah, we're changing his name. It's no longer Cash Bar.
Cash bar.
Space
Watch this. This is gonna be a barn. Wow. It could have gone though.
Yeah.
No,
out to 1,400.
He could have at least gone like here, 1,800.
All right. So what do you
We
want to
screwed you. What? We could have doubled your money.
Now he wants to go to the barn. All right.
Now he wants to go to the barn. All right. Let's go to the barn. Well, I told you, motherfucker.
All right. On $1,200, $1,300.
Listen, it's still $1,152. So it's still money's money. That's a lot of wrecked token. With that being said, we will see you all tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out.